Hey there, algebra students. Mr. Lawrence here, and we're going to continue our exploration of solving systems by substitution. And we're going to have some linear and systems and mixes again on this one. We're only going to do a couple examples because we're getting a lot of practice. I'm just trying to show you examples, keep you strong. All right, let's do number one. We've got two linear equations. And in the first equation, x is already isolated. It's already alone. So I don't need to solve for anything. It would be more work to solve for another variable. X is already by itself, so I'm going to take what x equals. Oh, I have a silly mistake there. I think I intend that to be 3y plus 4. There we go. That looks a little bit better. And we are going to plug that in place of x. So we're going to do 2 times the quantity of, and inside there we'll write the 3y plus 4, and then we will finish the equation, which is plus 3y equal to 8. Now we'll do our distribution and get a 6y plus 8 plus a 3y. That will equal 8. Then I'm going to combine my like terms to get 9y plus 8 equals 8. And then I'm going to go ahead and subtract 8 from both sides, trying to get y alone. I'll end up with a 9y equals 0. Dividing by 9 will yield the answer that y equals 0. Now, if y is 0, x is really easy to find. I'm just going to plug it in to the equation where x is already alone. And so I'll get x equal to 4. So therefore, these two lines cross at the point 4, 0 on the x-axis. I'm not going to do it on the graphing calculator today. You can verify that on your own, graphing the two linear equations. All right, let's check out number 2. I have y alone in my quadratic. Um, I can do this. I'm just going to take that quadratic and I'm going to this one right here, and I'm going to plug it in for y. And I'm glad I'm going to, because you see this negative here? I'm going to have to pay attention to what's going on. So separate my work here. I'm going to have a 4x minus the quantity of negative x squared plus 3x plus 4, and that's going to equal negative 2. Now I have to distribute the negative, right? It's like a negative 1 here times all these groups. So I'm going to have 4x plus x squared minus 3x minus 4 equal to negative 2. I'm going to write this in descending order, so my x squared is going to come first. I'm going to have a 4x minus the 3x, well that's a plus x. I have a negative 4 equals negative 2. Now it's a quadratic, so I want it to equal 0. So I'm going to add 2 to each side. I almost said add 0. That wouldn't do much, would it? So I'm going to add 2 to each side. And my transformed equation will be x squared plus x minus 2 equals 0. And I will factor x plus 2 and x minus 1. I believe it'll come out to be. You can verify that. I'm not teaching factoring now. I expect you to be able to do that on your own. And then I'm going to solve. I'm going to get x equals negative 2. And x could be negative or positive 1. So they're going to cross when x is negative 2, and they'll also cross when x is positive 1. Now to find y out, I could plug in my values into the equation where y is alone, or I could plug them in here and then solve for y. I think I'm going to plug them in the red one. It'll probably be simpler. So I'm going to write y equals, I'm going to have a negative. I have negative 2 squared Notice I used the parentheses, plus 3x plus 4. So plus 3 times negative 2 plus 4. Okay, now be careful with this. Follow your order of operations. You have to do exponents before this negative, okay, before the multiplication. So negative 2 to the second power is 4. The negative of 4 is negative 4. So here I have negative 4. That's not the entire answer. That's just for that first part. Here I'm going to have a minus 6, positive 3 times negative 2. Then I'll have a plus 4. Now think about this. Don't get this wrong. I've got a negative 4 and a positive 4. They are going to cancel each other out. So therefore, y is going to equal negative 6. So one place where these 2 points will cross will be x is negative 2, y is negative 6. All right. The other value, x equals 1, I'll do the same thing. And I'm going to plug in y equals negative of 1 squared plus 3 times 1 plus 4. All right, I'm going to get y equals, this will be 1 squared is 1, make it negative, plus 3 plus 4. Looks like that's going to equal 6. 7 positives, 1 negative, 6. So the other place that they will cross will be at the point 1, 1, 6. And there we go. All right, there's your 2 examples. Not much more to it. I'm going to leave it at that. We'll get a little more practice in class tomorrow. Mr. Lawrence signing off. Good night, everybody.